Welcome. I'm Chris McKean.
And I'm Andy Kiner.
We're all about cross-country racing, and typically it starts with 10 seconds.
But not in Iowa. In Iowa, it starts with hands-on helmets.
Welcome. We'll blame our tardiness tonight on you, right?
And I got to accept it. That's the first stab at me in the first 10 seconds of you talking.
Got to get them in quick. So, somebody was laid off of work, so we apologize. Just a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's been...
I didn't think it was going to be that late tonight. It was, so...
Yeah. And you're a little bit under the weather, too, so we'll get that out of the way. That you sounded horrible the last couple of days, so that's kind of why we've been postponing a podcast, just to try to get you a little bit better.
Yeah, I got just a head cold, I guess it is, but man, it just won't quit. But it's definitely getting better.
Yep. So we'll do this one tonight. I think we're going to do a turnaround. We're going to commit to one on Monday. Kind of fits in our schedule as well, so can look forward to that. Trying to get somewhat of a schedule going here. Still battling with all the sports and gymnastics and everything else that we got going on our side of the house. So thanks for being patient.
It's been tough lately.
You're telling me. We've been double booked. We have cross country and football on the same night. So it's been, conquer and divide, or divide and conquer at our house to see what we can, participate and cheer on the boys as much as we can.
I'll tell you what, it seems like it's horrible right now when you're going through it.
Yeah.
But man, when we had to go one side to watch Brock wrestle and then hurry to go over to watch Brady wrestle in another town same night, usually on Thursdays also. And it's like, man, you wonder what in the heck, but man, enjoy it while you can, because it goes by real quick. Don't seem like it when it's happening, but I wish I could go do it again.
Yep. So we have a pretty good podcast. We're going to do, we're going to talk a little bit about the safe ride training.
Ride safe. Yep.
Ride safe training. We'll talk about a little recap about how the race went from our perspective for round 5. And then we'll go into talk about round 6 here and the Hotsy Holeshot. We'll get the bracket seating done tonight, so I can work on getting a bracket out as soon as possible for those who want to participate in that. But we have a guest as well. You want to go ahead and bring her on?
Sure.
All right. So welcome, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Thanks for joining us with 10-minute notice from Andy.
Hey,
it's okay.
Hey.
Oh.
So sorry, Ashley, when it comes down to this technical stuff, this is why I usually try to intervene so we don't have these issues with Chris, but
I apologize
every once in a while.
That's somebody was making some t-shirts right before we went live too.
T-shirts.
Way to multitask.
Multitask, waiting for Andy to join. Yes,
T-shirts. I thought you always have a t-shirt on that you want to display. Like,
I do have one.
Have one to show us.
I do. I have one. I have the new special edition breast cancer one that we'll have for sale or available at round 6. I'll see if I can get it down here. It's all about saving the pumpkins. So it's kind of like, how in the past everybody kind of likes these kind of shirts, so we'll throw them out there. It's a limited edition. I think I only have like 75 I'm gonna make, so we'll first come first serve, or if there's a big interest we'll make some later on. But
I'll bet you don't sell one.
Well,
I call dibs on the first.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, Chris.
Yep. Thanks for the shameless plug.
You betcha. So, Chris, I apologize if I start coughing. I'll try to shut off so you can't hear me. But so just getting into this Ride Safe program, we talked about it there, and we read kind of a little article about it there the last time we had our podcast, a couple weeks ago, I believe. But I know it was last second, but I want to ask Ashley to come on here because I got some really good feedback from all of our, I guess, the people putting this on. And it was just really cool. Number one, like I said before, to have the opportunity to be a part of this, something that's been worked on here for, I'd say, at least the last 2 years. And then it made some changes here and ended up going to 3 different schools. So in case people don't remember, it was going to be at State Fairgrounds, a 1-day deal, and it got changed. And then it was at Martinsdale School to start out with on the 25th. And we went to Winterset the 26th. And then the last day was on Friday the 27th at I-35 School in Truro. And I say I was only there the last day. So, but I don't have a list of them. I think I can rattle it off, but I'm probably going to work with you, Ashley. I want to make sure everybody gets recognized here. But the very first day, I literally started getting text that all of your riders are rock stars. They did such a good job. They just, I mean, when I was able to be there on Friday, Chris, I think I called you late, believe it or not, to see if you wanted to go. I wish you could have been there. It was, I knew our people would do well. I really did. Cause that's why they were picked, number one, but it was just really cool. I mean, everything from, I think Smalley was the youngest one, wasn't he?
Yeah, Coulter.
Yeah, Coulter. All the way to Kevin Weedy. Call him the old guy of the group, maybe.
Joe was there.
Well, yeah, Joe Lutz. But they just did a great job from getting thrown at them to I'm coming up on stage to getting interviewed by Justin Brayton, Mason Kerr. He's right up there. What's it? Randolph. Hubert. There you go.
Hubert. Everybody's redneck.
He's with Nitro Circus. Just a lot of different stuff going on, Chris. And I'm just going to go through a little bit of it, and then I'm going to turn over to Ashley and let her kind of give you her thoughts on it. But so I knew how it was supposedly going, but once I got there, I was so impressed. Not just all of our machines being the riders and stuff, but a lot of different dealerships had them. None of them are our preferred dealers, so I'm not going to go through and mention them, but they dealers had their stuff there. Some other privateers had some stuff there, some race bikes and stuff. But it was very, very cool. I hadn't planned on actually working it. I just wanted to witness it and see the guys and the gals do it. But I ended up helping with the over here in the bottom right was the session that I was in with Dan Clean with the side-by-sides. But I would kind of run over to watch a little bit here and there. And what I seen was we had little machines and they were talking about correct sizes. And we had some youth riders there and stuff. And even the adults, I shouldn't say adults, but this, I guess the high school and junior high, I thought really took notice of the size thing and paying attention to it. They may not have understood it before, but I think it really caught their attention. They just went from them all the way up to like the 450s to utilities, talking about them. We went to the side-by-sides. We talked about different situations like being on the road with them, the age, the speed, how tippy, the nets, just all kinds of seat belts, helmets. They worked there all the way around. And at the very end, was it the end, Ashley, or the beginning it was at the end when they did the helmets, right?
There were 6 stations, and they all, depending on what grade they were, that's the station they started at. So you had your first graders, and they started in stage 1, which was ATVs. So it kind of varied.
Okay. Well, if you look at that middle picture there, Chris, at the top.
Yep, the whole crew.
That was at the very end on the last day. So that's minus Joe Lutz and
Nicholas.
Yeah, million. But if you look behind, I know it's kind of hard when I took that picture to be able to show it, but there's correct me if I'm wrong, Ashley, wasn't there like 160 helmets there?
Yes. And we fit every single child.
Yeah, that's like 800 kids coming out just that day that I was there, Chris, that was able to go over there and get fitted for a helmet. and I believe they were like written down so that they could take it home to their parents. And
Yep,
they would
it was
know
written down. It was written down on a flyer that gave them a 15% off as well.
Very cool. And I think Fly donated those, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Very, very cool. But so I guess in my closing, what I seen was a lot of people volunteering that day. A lot of people came from far away. We were lucky that it's obviously really close to us this time. But just a lot of really neat points were put out. They went into a, what am I trying to say? Auditorium. And the
We did an
auditorium,
assembly.
yeah, yep. And
Yeah.
it was like, it was awesome. They were filled with like 6th grade through 12th grade. And then the second one in the afternoon was kindergarten through 5th grade, I believe it was.
Mhm.
And it was just really neat. They had a great video to show. At the top there, we already talked about Hubert. Over on the right is Mason Kerr. He's I think he's from Altoona, races arena cross. I think he's like top 3 or something right now. And he races Supercross too. The day before, I think, wasn't it Justin Brayton there at Winterset? So
Yep. From
it was
Fort
really
Dodge.
cool. Yeah, really cool. And I want to give a special shout out and thanks to Dan Clean, because he's really the real part of the reason that we were a part of this. Had a great relationship with Dan. He does so much for everybody, and he tends to get asked to do this stuff all the time. And when he feels like we can help him, he's not afraid to ask. So thank Dan and everybody. But let's go through. I think, Ashley, you go through there and just name off everybody in that center picture.
Yeah, I'll start with the ones that aren't there. So Joe Lutz and Nicholas, and then we had Mike and Coulter Smiley, and then we had Kevin Weedy, Jaden Jones, Bailey Llewellyn made it the last day. My son Xander made it the last day. That's about it, our crew.
So out of that crew, Mike and Coulter. Mike obviously brought Coulter down. Ashley, Jaden, and Kevin Weedy all came all 3 days. And I personally know exactly what that means, because that means either you missed school for 3 days or you missed work for 3 days. So I can't thank you enough, Ashley. That's one reason I wanted you to come on. Ashley was actually the very first person I called, Chris. I don't know if I mentioned that to you before. And just immediately, I don't even think she thought, maybe she didn't hear me correctly. I don't know, but she said, yep, I'll do it. So, and the very next day, she surprised me and said she'd do all 3 days. So again, all the texts I got showed that you guys are absolute rock stars. I just want to throw this out there, Ashley, and then I'm going to let you speak here. But this is a text I got from one of the teachers at I-35. This is after, this is the Monday after we were there. They said, my thoughts on the safety training was that not only was it very informational, it also was very important in our area. I liked having the indoor presentation as well as the outdoor hands-on presentations. After talking to some of the kids here, they really enjoyed the hands-on stuff where they could see the vehicles up close and try on helmets, etc. Being able to see the equipment in person as well as learning about seemed to be a favorite amongst all the kids. I also like the personal stories that people told, and having guys and gals that are in the racing business there to talk about the safety is also great to see. I actually reached out. I won't mention this school, but yeah, I will. Actually, because he's from Southeast Warren originally. He says, I reached out to people at Southeast Warren to tell them they are dumb not to have these guys down there, because I thought it was awesome and very important for their community. So he's obviously razzing another group, but it was just cool. And I got a very similar one from Martinsdale, but just talk about how important it was, and can't thank you guys enough, and everybody that was a part of that for doing it. So, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on some of the stuff that you heard that day, Ashley, dealing with little kids all the way to the big kids.
Yeah. I think the important message we were trying to get across is just because you think you can ride it and you think you have the ability doesn't mean it's meant for you. all the way from the little kids saying they ride their papa's four-wheeler. We showed them how if your arms are too short, why it won't work. If your legs are too short, why it won't work. And how riding with more than one person wrecks the center of gravity. And we explained it to them and got them on the machine. And Kevin Weedy decided to let him go through a ride of demonstrating on why it's important to stand up when you go over rough terrain, which I think that was every kid's highlight. They loved that part.
Huh.
So say that one more time. About the machine.
Which part? Oh,
The
so
very
we
first- and listen carefully, Andy.
which part?
The right
think
machine.
The fit. Yes, Andy. Just because you think you can ride it doesn't mean your body fits it.
I knew what he was talking about.
Sorry.
See, Ashley, I'm so
Sport
nice
of the
to him
game.
throughout this whole thing, and then he always got to gab me all the time.
It was a good message. Like, I wasn't there. I had other commitments, but I did hear some feedback as well. So even though I wasn't there and heard great things, everybody was so happy with the opportunity. I'm sure that it will grow if we get an opportunity to maybe visit some more schools next year.
Yes.
Yeah, I think there's some getting worked on right now, actually. So
Ride Safe actually reached out to me today asking if we knew any Southern Missouri riders. They're doing the same kind of event down there. I said I'd look around.
very nice. Yeah. Cool. Nope, I really appreciate it, Ashley. That was really, really good. So I thought it went
I think
really
the main message we were getting across. So we saw about 2,200 kids, and if we can save one life by just explaining what safety means and why it's important to wear a helmet, it was worth my 3-day PTO.
I totally agree. I mean, if you look at all summer long about the accidents that happen just because a kid might not be paying attention or on maybe a machine he shouldn't be, that we kind of see. Don't want to ever see those stories, but
Right.
To promote it and safe riding and education is important.
Yes.
Chris, I didn't bring them down. Ashley, you probably remember these better than I do, but there's a couple that stuck out to me. There's a lot of statistics that got, and I grabbed one of those sheets that had those, but a couple of them, one was we have 19 deaths in Iowa already. Is that right this year? From ATVs and side-by-sides. And I believe those 19 didn't have on the safety equipment, if I remember right. I might have that wrong.
They didn't have a helmet and seatbelt for the UTVs.
Gotcha. And then the one that really stuck out to me was the leading, help me here, Ashley. The leading cause, was it somebody under 17 or under 18?
17.
Under
I think
17.
it was 15, actually. It was 15.
Okay. So the leading cause of death, Chris, for people under 17 in the United States is, guess what?
Probably what we're talking about here.
Exactly.
Yep.
Injuries on ATV / side-by-sides.
It was rollovers specifically.
Oh, it was rollovers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I mean, how crazy is that, knowing that, I guess you can't say 100%, but the amount of them that you could impact on just doing exactly what you guys talked about during that training. I mean,
it's super important. And Kevin Weedy actually pointed it out. We race and we wear all the protective gear, and yeah, we may get in an accident, but we minimize our accidents. It's actually the kids that we were talking to. We're like, it's you guys that will be the ones that are the statistics because you are not wearing the protective gear.
It's very good. Yep. It's very good. It's something that I heard there. I think it was maybe Hubert was talking, that I thought was very interesting when he asked everybody, I'll ask you, Chris, what is the one thing that every single person in that statistics that we've talked about have in common?
It's all preventable.
Yeah, they never intended to get in an accident.
Yep.
That's the first thing is it's just an accident, but they never intended to, but that's why it sneaks up on you, so, but it was pretty cool. So, but Ashley, thank you very much for coming on. We sure appreciate it. It was super important. And I like your thoughts on that because I agree 100%. If you get one person, that makes everything worth it. And I think it's safe to say, I bet you guys affected a lot more than one person doing the right thing that day. So
I hope so.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris is so mean on here, but outside of that, I think everybody else is pretty nice. So.
Yeah. Thanks, Ashley. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yes. See you. Bye, guys.
Thanks. Yeah, that was really cool, Chris. Hopefully we can get some more riders out there the next time we do that.
Yeah.
So what do we got next?
Oh, we got recap round 5. How did it go for you?
Well,
let's talk amazing course, amazing property.
So I'm not really on the 4-wheeler yet too much, but during the so give the guys, when I say guys, it's important to mention them as Paul Sirk, Joe Moeller, Brad Mathis, Joe Lutz, Michael Smalley,
yep.
Brett Benjigurdes. And I hope I didn't forget somebody, but I'm telling you, those guys knocked it out of the park. It's like giving them a canvas, kind of the old saying, give them a canvas and let them make something out of it, That's what they did. I went out I hadn't planned on going on the track at all. I didn't see the finished product for the adults at all, but I started there for the kids and I couldn't take it. I had to get out at least around one lap, which is good because I got to help a couple of them. But man, even that kids course was really cool for the 70s, 90s, and stuff. It was really cool. And every kid I talked to, except the one that wasn't making it uphill, I think was really having a good time. And the 50s appeared to have the exact same thing. That hill wasn't part of that one. I think they basically cut the course in half, basically. The 50s did like 1.5 miles or a little 2 mile or something. But yeah, I thought the guys just knocked it out of the park, and everybody I talked to just really loved it.
And it's not only the track building; the track crew needs props with the towing. I think I seen more tows this race than all other races, if not combined. It was a lot of towing that was done, a lot of coordinating, a lot of radio chatter about who's getting what. Good communication that they're giving each other, and they're quick to even get to somebody that was maybe on fire out there as well, right? So can't give them enough kudos.
Yeah, they definitely worked their butts off, and like you mentioned, having a lot of tows. It came down to a situation there, just communication. I think it was on me, but I thought we were ready to go for the side-by-sides. And I went down there and I hadn't gotten the clear from like I thought I had. And they were still pulling a couple, 2 or 3 back in that had broken. I don't think it was really anything necessarily to do with the track. It was a lot of just little goofy stuff that was happening to everybody, But yeah, they were still towing people in. So we were about 15 minutes late, I think, getting the side-by-side started. But man, excuse me. Sorry, getting runny nose. But, everything I think we talked about, how we was laying out the track and then we were moving the scoring and moving the start stuff. By the changes that we ended up doing on the start, that allowed everybody to have that little area. It was a nice little area there for pitting and everything. And I know the guys and I, and even you and I, Chris, had talked about it's a shame we can't actually have a pit lane.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, I thought that was one of the best things that happened all year, because all day long, I wasn't necessarily going out on the track. I was kind of watching that motocross area and trying to get some pictures and, help with scoring, stuff like that, but they, every time I went over there, we had a really nice crowd there that day, had a lot of locals, a lot of family members came that, typically don't come. But it was like a big party over there all day long. The guys jumping. I will tell you, I think everybody can maybe argue this, but I forgot to send you those pictures, didn't I? Doggone it. I wanted to send you that picture of who I think put on the biggest show all day long was Carter Moline. And oh my gosh, he scared me a couple times on his jumps way up there. I got a good picture of him right in front of the I-80 trailer and the AMA banner.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of those pictures, it was nice to get those. I want to thank Frank Bartlett and the Georges for moving their tents a couple different times for allowing us to have those spots to take pictures in. Frank was trying to hog up the space, I think, but I think George got him to move it. So, but we were able to get some good pictures. And the one picture I've got of Carter in the air, I going up telling everybody, I said, look at this. And they're like looking and they'll be like, oh, they see it because it's clear up here, and it's like, yeah, he was airing it out, whipping it. Man, he was doing a heck of a job. But what it showed me was, one, the Bear family, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
But two, that motocross is something that we don't usually get a hit, and ride on. And even when we do, it's typically not set up for us. So guys have to hit it a little bit slower than they normally would, kind of respect it a little bit more. But David and his family went through that thing and set it up to where there's no doubles, the lips and stuff. And man, the guys, even the kids were having fun with it. But man, the guys in the ATVs were just flat out airing it out. And it was a lot of fun. All the spectators, I think, had a blast watching it. I seen Frank over there with pom-poms, and he was doing his little thing. He looked good out there. So, but no, it was really cool. And Carter was definitely, in my opinion, there were some of them that were getting up there, but Carter was definitely, in my opinion, the class of the field as far as the jumping, and doing that with the motocross bike is one thing, but doing it as smoothly and as cool as he was, and with a cross country bike is something else. And I thought he was just doing a great job. But it was just cool seeing everybody over there in that whole area all day long. I mean, the tents that were set up, people just having fun. I seen the cattlemen's over there. Instead of having everybody go to the concession stands, they were bringing sandwiches over to everybody, and everybody's coming and getting them, and I have to leave. And it was just a really cool atmosphere that I don't know if I've ever seen it like that before. And it was a lot of fun just to see everybody and their families having fun like that. Because when we have a normal pit lane, Chris, everybody's kind of in their own pits. And this kind of got everybody to all together, and just, it was really cool. So, like I said, I'm not sure. I think more people were forced to be in the Georges pits that probably didn't want to be there but had to be there, But I think at the end of the day, they thought, well, the Georges aren't too bad either. So, but no, it was cool. Yeah. It was very cool. So,
yeah, from a scoring perspective, everything was good. I mean, smooth running race. We did have an issue in the 50s. We did have a very short lap. We did remove it. Did remove that lap. I guess even in the adults, we had a short lap that we did penalize and remove a lap from a racer. So it does happen. So those that question it, we do look at lap times, make the determination. If it doesn't look right, we bring it to the attention of the racer. And it happened not once but twice this race that we did remove a lap. So
and I'm gonna be that guy real quick, Chris, because there's some obvious stuff that went on that we had to correct there. You did, and fix some stuff, but it's very important for people to know that if you want to protest somebody, there's a right and a wrong way to do it. And during the race, is a bad time to do it when it means taking you away from scoring to deal with something. And then you could have 100 other things go wrong. So please, if someone has an issue during scoring or during the race, come to me and explain yourself. And then we can take it to Chris when it's due time. But obviously, Chris is the guy that we have to talk to on the scoring issues. And believe it or not, I think we can figure it out most times. But there's just one thing that, some people will come to you and say, well, Joe cheated. Well, if I penalize Joe for cheating because Mark told me he cheated, everybody's going to get a penalty. So we've got to look at the times. We've got to look at, different situations there and stuff. And we definitely don't do the time adjustment unless it's we've talked about this. If it's something that's our fault, which has been in the past with whether it was, we sent them the wrong way or did something, then the whole class goes that way, maybe on a start or something. We've time adjusted the whole group, but we don't do that for one person or something. It's your job to stay on track. And the easiest way to know, Chris, obviously we've talked about this 100 times. If you're questioning if you're off track, it's usually because you're not seeing any arrows, or not seeing your colored arrow, so that's the take. And if you don't want to be penalized at the end of the day, number one, when you get done, first thing is come see us so we can make the adjustment immediately, not at the end, but two is go back to where you got off track and restart it, and fix it so you're not getting penalized at the end. So yeah, we have that. And then we had an issue with the 50 limiteds. We're going to continue to check that all year long to make sure that that's a class that needs to stay completely stocked. We have an 18-mile-an-hour limit on that. So we're going to stay on that, make sure kids can be kids in that class and just have fun getting started. But side-by-sides, man, I'll tell you, I don't know if we've ever been to a facility before, Chris, that was built for side-by-sides and we got to race ATVs on it. Typically, it's the other way around, you know. So I know that I got a message about Jacob Benton racing airing his out on the side-by-sides, and he was too. He was airing that thing out. So the side-by-sides are putting on a show, and they had a lot of challenges out there, and I don't think we end up having to tow. I don't think we had to get anybody with the skid steer, if I'm right. I don't think anybody had to. I think
no skid steer. Couple. Oh, what am I thinking? Lou had to go back out, change a tire. Chad was able to drive his out. Yeah, I don't think anybody got seriously, broke the machine or anything that they had to get a tow.
Right. Cool.
What else? The adult 90. Talk about that a little bit. I mean, we had a perfect little mini track to do the adult 90 mini challenge. I thought it was quite entertaining. The crowd, we had quite the crowd this one. So, let us know. I mean, this is something fun, extra that Andy and I have tried to throw together. And if people are entertained, we can keep going with it. Let it keep growing, but quite the crowd. And I think everybody had fun watching, especially that final race, last couple corners there that Shorty was able to take over from Dylan, if I remember right.
Correct. Yep. I think Dylan led the whole race except for the last 20 feet,
Yeah.
But yeah, them guys put on a show. I think that was a show we've seen all year out of the adult 90s. They put on a great show. So definitely got to thank Jason Mickelson and Century 21, for helping us with this deal. And the belt stayed with Shorty. So Mr. So did he wrap up the points this last one? Or can it still be? Maybe it can still be.
Put me on the spot. Top three, I think, are still undecided, if I remember correctly.
Gotcha. So that's going to make it even
it'll
that
come
much
down
more
to
important.
it'll all
Whole
come down
shot.
to the whole shot challenge.
Very cool.
Yep.
Yep. So it was a good day. Real good day. I think once again, I want to thank the Bear family. They did a great job entertaining everybody and helping out with everything. And yeah, can't thank them enough. That was the show that I had hoped for, but it went smoother with our vendors and just everything than I could probably even hope for in a first time race. So we got really lucky this year with 2 first races, one at Cahokia and then at Weldon. And I think they both, from everything I've heard, went over really well. So
yeah, I stand corrected on that adult 90. I just pulled up points. Jordan does pretty well have first wrapped up. It's a close between second and third. There's a tie for third.
who's second and third?
Second is Travis Brandt.
You know, names.
Yep. Travis Brandt third, or second, excuse me. Jackson Carroll and Dylan Trigg tied for third.
Oh, wow. Huh. Jackson Carroll should be he should be docked a couple points because he was pushing his brother right into me. I had to get out of the way.
Yeah.
I turned around. I wasn't prepared for that first start of the first heat. Yeah, the first heat, I think it was. No, second, because we put my 4-wheeler there.
Yep.
Yeah, I turned around. You guys started him, or Brock started him, and here Nate is turned sideways right in front of his brother, and Jackson is just pushing it. Nate said he never let off the throttle.
He couldn't.
That was funny.
Yeah.
But it was good to see all them guys having fun.
Yeah, I mean, looking at points as well, we already kind of touched on the adult 90 points. Man, there's looking at points out there through round 5 without looking at throwaways or anything like that. What do we have? 5 classes that are coming down. I mean, within points, will come down to round 6. So it's going to be entertaining last round.
I think most of the classes are pretty darn tight. A couple classes, guys have got it won because,
Yep.
some people didn't race all the races, or something. So it got it wrapped up early. But for the most part, the ones that are very, very competitive, that's all good racing the whole time. So
yeah, 3 kids classes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
We have 50 stock, 70 production, 90 stock 8 and 9-year-olds. I think all those classes are only within a point or 2 of each other.
Wow.
So crazy. Then 30 plus with Dylan Howard and Kyle Burnham. Closest one, I think, 1 point difference, and then also 1 point difference between our AA top 2 guys. So it's going to come down to this last race.
Wow, very cool. That's what you like to hear. It's good racing. So,
yeah.
So I see the big old Hotsy banner up there. What's that all about?
Well, it's time transition over to our Hotsy Holeshot Challenge seating. We're not going to throw a bracket up tonight, but we'll throw the seating. We have 33 participants that qualified and accepted the challenge. Some opted out to not do it. But 33 still a pretty good number. I think that's almost, if I remember right, I think we had somewhere around 25, 26 last year. So numbers are up a little bit for the challenge. So
cool. So we're going to do the drawing tonight for the bracketing then?
We're going to do the seating.
Seating, yep.
And then we'll throw a bracket.
Bracket out there later.
Yep. And then kind of tossing around some ideas. Those that want to fill out a bracket can do so. And the winner come up with some sort of a prize.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm seeing some questions here. Sorry. Pop question. So are we throwing out the lowest score? Does every race count this time? So we still 5 out of the 6 races count for ATVs,
but side by side, everyone
except
counts.
Well, side by sides, AA, and open utility, right? There's no throwouts.
I think so. Yeah.
No throwouts. So all the kids will have a throwout race. Normally, I'll do all that points after the last race. It's less confusing, less work for me when we do all the tallying up, and we'll get those championship points figured out. Also, to qualify for the rules, you have to participate in 4 races to qualify for year-end points and awards.
Gotcha. I think Lou was thinking side by sides when he asked that question.
Yeah. All right. What else? Do we have anything else before we go to the drawing? What's Hotsy? Hotsy, the sponsor. We also have Tyrell Kerr that's offered up a grand total of $750 for this whole shot challenge that will be divided between the top 3 finishers, right?
Is it top 3? Okay. I can remember how that was set up. So,
yep. So in addition, what is Hotsy doing for each of the participants?
So we'll have some special prizes for everybody from them at this race. I actually called them, gave them a count today, and getting it figured out how to go get it and get it down to the race. So everybody that participates will get a prize from Hotsy. So, and the Hotsy cleaning systems with the power washers. If you haven't been around them, if you've been on a farm, a business, almost every single one of them guys either has a Hotsy or wants a Hotsy. It's kind of like owning a handy. Either have it or you want one, But the Hotsy has the hot water washer, power washer. Their service is unbelievable. Just our last track, when I went down there and looked at it at the Bears family, I looked over and seen the Hotsy and said, "Oh, you got a Hotsy," and just kind of recognized it. And they talked to me about the service and stuff that Hotsy comes down and will service it and everything. And it's pretty cool. It's really cool to be involved with Hotsy, that's for sure. So, and it worked out good with the Hotsy Holeshot challenge.
Yeah.
So, let's get these things drawn. See who Paul Sirk has.
So who's going to go up against Paul Sirk?
I'm telling you right now, nobody wants to race Paul Sirk in this because I think everybody believes that he has just been like lollygagging, and then all of a sudden he cracks off 2 hole shots in a row, and then he just like stopped again. So I don't think he wanted to like fool everybody. He's trying to be the dark horse here.
Trying to, yes.
So nobody wants Paul first round. Hopefully he'll get a bye because I don't want to make anybody mad.
So, yep. So all I'm going to do is just basically I'm on random.org, just a randomizer. Everybody's name that has qualified or accepted the challenge is in here. So there's 33 of you guys. Just make sure everybody sees everybody's name, and we'll just quickly go through and we're going to randomize. So it's all done. So we'll go.
And just so everybody knows, we put messages out, making sure that, on our Facebook, we've talked about it on the podcast. Basically, all you had to do is respond saying I'm in. And then we had a lot that just didn't respond at all. So we made phone calls, sent out text or emails to everybody. And as of last night, I think I talked to like 6 last night, and I had like 3 that I'd sent message to hadn't responded. So this is where it came down to, and we just got to call it at some point. So.
Okay. So there's our 33 in placement. So ideally, since we have an odd number, right, Andy, it's going to be number 33 and number 32 would have to start us off, right? If we're looking at a 32-man bracket.
Yeah. So the way you did it, so first will be seated first, then type thing.
Yep. Gary Eads is seated first, followed by Devin, Michael, Cody, and so on and so forth.
Gotcha. So we won't be able to see that. I didn't know if you were doing it. I'm glad you said it before I asked. So that's good. We'll do it that way. I wasn't sure if you were putting like the first line was the top two, then second line was 3 and 4. You know what I mean? And going back. So we won't really know who has who until we do bracket it then.
Correct. To make it fair. Yeah.
Yep.
But to start us off with, 33 and 32 have to go up against each other to qualify. So Jason and Brian Cox would have to start us off very first race to see who then qualifies within the 32-man bracket.
So that will be kind of a what do you call that?
Preliminary.
Yeah, to get into it still.
Yeah.
So those two will race first, and then basically the winner of that will go up against Gary Eads, correct? If I got that right.
Yeah, they should.
First seed should go up against last seed.
Yeah.
So then if we can figure this out here really quick, we might see who has to race Paul Cirk. So if I figure 1, 2, 3, 4, wait, Paul's down here.
Paul Circus.
So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Cody.
So it's looking like Cody, George, and Paul Cirk, if this is unofficial, but it appears like Cody George might have had the worst luck. He's had a bad luck, seems like all year, but I don't think his luck's changing. I think he's going to have to race Paul Cirk in the opening round of the 2024 Hotsy Holeshot Challenge at Murray, Iowa. I'm sorry, Cody. Nobody wanted to race Paul Cirk. I know they didn't. Kelly, I am very sorry. I wish I could have done something, but it's funny because they always end up camping beside each other. It's going to be a rough night at Murray. I know it is. I'm guessing Paul Cirk's not going to get any of those hot dogs in that hot dog roller this time.
Nope. We'll have to see. So, yeah, we'll get that. Give me a day or so. We'll get that out there. Shay, I see I misspelled your last name. I'll get that corrected before we get this all posted out there for the brackets. Well, yeah, we'll get this done. What was our thoughts? If those who are filling out a bracket for fun, $100 gift card to a sponsor of your choice of the series, right?
Yeah.
So $100.
Yes, it's one of our preferred dealers.
Yeah.
Yep. So one of our preferred dealers, they can have a $100 gift card. We will call them and get it listed. But last year, people were kind of a little slow on getting them filled out. If you can get up there on Friday night, is that something, Chris, that they'll be able to print off maybe? Can we put it out there where they can print it off and fill it out? Bring it.
What I will do is I'll post one out there on our website, and we can link from Facebook, link to the results page on our website, and they can print it out and bring it in, or bring it to the race with them.
Yeah, that would work. But yeah, so maybe they could have it filled out that way, or else Friday night, or Friday come up there and grab one. But it's awful late to think about it on Saturday because we start so early. So they all have to be turned in before that first round, obviously. So.
Yeah. What else, buddy?
I think that's it. Oh, we're doing our trick-or-treating too, aren't we? With the kids.
I think that's on the agenda. Yeah.
Yeah. All the kids, encourage them to come down Friday night and have fun and do the trick-or-treating. People tend to decorate the campers and their pit sites and stuff and come up the registration. Tracy's always got candy for them, and I know the Moors seem like they always have that place looking really cool for Halloween, for that last race and stuff. So always look forward to seeing the kids have some extra fun.
Yep.
And then are we still doing the thing Saturday night?
The potluck?
Potluck.
I hear that's in the works, or people have been talking about it. So potluck Saturday.
Yeah, potluck Saturday.
Do we have a time yet?
I would say as soon as we get done. It's probably a thing where should we get done at roughly 5:30? We got awards and stuff. Probably I'd say maybe try to shoot for that 6:30ish. Maybe start bringing stuff up there. We'll have some tables set up on the concrete by where the awards are. That's what we did, I think last year, wasn't it?
Yep.
So, yeah, it's one of those things where I know last year Hunter Hart was there. We had a campfire. My guess is Friday night we'll probably have a campfire again. I'll have to talk to the Moors about that, but that was fun. Just getting everybody to come down, hang out at the big campfire, just right there across from kind of where the awards are in the Moors' backyard. So I don't think we could find a better place to have the championship. It's just good parking. It's a lakeside. The kids always love it there, always have fun. It's just it's a great place. The Moors, a great family to be able to host it. So looking forward to it. So yeah. Do we have any questions to finish her up?
Nope. Everybody's just letting Raz and Paul here. But yeah, Paul's saying yes, he wants the chili potluck.
I really thought I'd be hearing from the Georges by now about
they're talking.
I'm sorry. I never the Georges have been so good to us, and Kelly especially. And to have them stuck with Paul first round, it breaks my heart. It really does.
I want to know why you're sucking up to the Georges so much tonight.
Oh, Kelly's just fun.
Kelly,
the Georges, it's a love-hate relationship. And then you got Kelly, so Kelly just kind of puts it over the top. She makes everything better.
I know. I gotta give a shout to Kelly. She did bring some salsa from Fort Dodge that we can only find in Fort Dodge. So thanks for that, Kelly. So, what else do we have? Tylub. So as always, Tylub, Chad Bodorf will be at the races. If you guys need anything, reach out to Chad. Lubricants, gas, or anything like that, he's always on hand, or he can bring it with him. And then I didn't mention it earlier when we were doing a recap of round 5, but I got to give a shout out to Dalton Schreier. Dalton didn't have the best of luck during the race, and he had some issues the very last lap. And I just thanking for his honesty, because he could have went through scoring and got a lap in, and nobody would have probably noticed his last lap, but he was very honest. Came through scoring and said that he cut the course to get out because the machine was, I think it broke a lower A arm, I believe is what was broke on his machine. So he limped it out of the woods and just showed his honesty and advised that he shouldn't be scored because he cut the track. So I appreciative of that, Dalton. So I want to give you a shout out. Sorry I didn't do that earlier.
That's very cool. Yep. And on that, I'm glad you mentioned that too, Chris, because there's another shout out I wanted to give, and that was to a guy that works his butt off, and it was very gracious for him to come down so early this time. That's Brent Benjigurdes. Came down and worked his butt off the whole time. And then I remember looking up and seeing him coming out. He broke during the race. I think it was his fan again. He's had a couple issues with that. But I remember where I was, and I can't remember what I was doing, but I was in a spot like over by scoring. I don't know if it was to slow people down or what it was, but there was something I was involved with that I couldn't leave to go check on him. And with just a matter of minutes, I watched Brent come in. He must have gotten off, went to the trailer, did something, changed his clothes or whatever, but he was back out and on his other machine and out helping everybody.
Yep.
I mean, he did not take a break, nothing. He just got back in. I need to be out there helping if I can't race. And it was very impressive. And I don't even think I told him thank you until you just mentioned, that honesty and everything and sportsmanship. And that goes a long way. So definitely thank Brent for doing everything he does, and all the guys, of course. But that was pretty cool to see him do that. So, so that's let's throw this out there too. So I guess, did you have anything else before I get into this on that?
No, I kind of wrapped up everything from my side.
I see Chad's message there too. I thought it was really cool. Brady came back to race this last race, and Brady called me like the week before, and it was kind of late getting everything going, last second type situation. I think he gets that from his mom. And anyway, he called. He's like, Dad, I need race fuel. Where do I get it? And so we started talking about a couple different places. And he was like, I want to call Chad because Chad's a sponsor, that tie lube. So I know he had Chad bring some race fuel to the race and stuff. So it's cool to see people taking notice. I warned Chad at the beginning of the year, when you switch fuels and stuff, it's kind of hard to get people to switch right away. But once they see your commitment in there, and sometimes that takes a year, but people start noticing you're there all the time. It's like, okay, do I drive 15 minutes, a half hour, an hour to go buy 5 gallons or 10 gallons of fuel? Or do I take advantage of, somebody like Chad and Tyler that's there all the time, and they're going to be bringing it? I can be nice and just tell them I want one and make sure they bring enough. But, Chad, it may not seem like a lot, but just being there, bringing the stuff there and setting it up, that means a lot for the support for racers if you stop and think about it. And I'm a big guy on not doing stuff online to do it, through the people that support the sport. So definitely give him credit and push everybody. And I was happy to see my own son take notice of that and say that's where I want to get it. So.
Yeah, and kind of like we're on, not to keep talking about Chad, his head's going to explode, but he also is doing the Top Gun award for those that are for the classes. So we talked like in the middle of the season that not very many turned in that certificate for the end of the year drawing. So use those certificates that he's handing out to you guys. So it's $20 worth of product off right there at the track you can pick up. And you fill out that certificate to get entered into the Top Gun Award or at the banquet. So use it. I mean, it's all free. So,
yep. So I'm going to throw this out there. I'm probably only going to do it on the podcast, so it's only the people that listen. But so every year, well, 2 things. First of all, I'm going to say this is questions on things that you'd like to see changed, like whether it be a rule or something within the series. If you're an ATV, please just talk about ATVs. Don't talk about side-by-sides. If you're an ATV, let's focus on the right groups. But if you have suggestions or like changes or, classes, I think we're pretty darn good on. We had a little stink at the beginning of the year, but I think it all worked out really well. I'm real impressed on how that worked. But that's what we want to hear. And I'd much rather start hearing from that now than I would at banquet time. And I think we've always kind of done it at banquet. For the ATVs, I don't think it's as big a deal. Side by sides, it's very hard on them if we make major changes or anything, at banquet time, because heck, you're racing 2 months after that. And a lot of them's already been building their car, So if you have any ideas, maybe we can get a suggestion box. I don't mean the garbage can, Chris. Last time we did this, Chris had a suggestion box. He just put everything in the garbage can. So we'll actually get a suggestion box at the
that was a poor
registration trailer. What's that?
That was a poor dig. Gotta work on that.
But maybe we can get a suggestion box there, have the girls put it in a folder. Feel free to email me or message me. I'm sure they have a text message, but I would like to hear from everybody so we can start looking at the rules and stuff way beforehand. Maybe we can make some of those decisions before instead of after the banquet. So, but definitely on that. And then what was the other one? Oh, here's the one that we've never asked this part before, but I would love to have, whether message Chris or I, either one, I would like to have some, we always talk about like our youth of the year, youth rider of the year, the ATV rider of the year, and the side-by-side rider of the year. We also talk about the Tanya Kiner, spirit of the sport, Sherman Lane worker of the year, all those special awards that we give, that's all from stuff that we see on a consistent, thing throughout the year and special things. Now, we all know that if we have some bad things, we kind of eliminate that situation, but if you have some stuff that's happened throughout the year, people that you want to, we're not doing a Jason Goody where we all vote for the mayor again, and that's who wins the most popular rider. But there's stuff that's happened throughout the year that I've heard, with people stopping to help somebody and the sportsmanship, like you just mentioned with Dalton and stuff. That's something that we've never really asked for input, but I would truly like to have some input from everybody on stuff that's happened throughout the year. And that's stuff that maybe we can bring up at the banquet and stuff, but that could also help us with making those decisions on those special awards. So yeah. Just encourage that. Text is the best way, but if you want to email, you're more than welcome to email as well. So, but I think other than that, our next one, we're going to be talking about the Murray race, correct?
Yep. We kind of touched on it a little bit tonight. We'll just do a recap and once we get more plans worked out.
Yep. I do have one quick thing too, is I forgot, we're still missing a couple pictures from the guys that got the AMA number 1 plates. We had a couple of them that we mailed out. So if you have not, most of them are probably more TT guys, circle track guys that probably won't be listening. But if you know anybody that's out there that hasn't sent the pictures in that got their plates, we want to get that poster done. And I think the only one left in the series that got it, I think, is Tyler Valentine. I still need to get his. We've got it still here that didn't get picked up at the last race. So, but I think we're only missing like 4 people total that we can get that done.
Good.
So, yeah, should be good. But other than that, I think that's all I had for tonight. Great trading, great race. Can't wait for the Hotsy Holeshot. I think that's looks like we got some cool T-shirts. I see people are already reserving some. Is that right?
Yeah, there's a couple. So yeah, in addition, not only to the adult, we also have to wrap up the adult 90 series challenge too. So we got quite a bit to kind of push in between the races. So it's why we have such an early start with this whole shot challenge. It worked smooth. It's not all done right at 7:45. We kind of do, depending on how things flow, maybe the first round or two. And then we have the 90 race, and then after that 90 race, we do the last 2 rounds. But then again, we'll also have to see who will sign up for the adult 90 mini challenge for the whole shot challenge. That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
And we'll have to run those as well. So yeah, tight ship. We have but we'll get her done.
So with that being said, though, Chris, probably the absolute most important thing of that stuff is people being there and being on time.
Yep.
The board will not stop because you're not there. So you need to get there. I think we'll do the coin flip again to see who gets which lane real quick. Who gets to pick the lane, which was important last year, it seemed like. But you need to be there. You need to be ready to go. So if it says 7:45, don't show up at 7:50 and wonder why you got left off the line, so you got to be there, watch for the bracket to come out, fill your bracket out if you want to have fun and pick the people. So it should be good, but just the only thing that can hold us up is you not being there. So
there's something else that probably could hold us up too, but Paul, it's going to be Cirque time or McKean time, not Kiner time.
Well, I know he's talking about Trace, so that's okay. I know Paul, he's definitely talking about Tracy time. I don't know why they call it. Should be Tracy time, shouldn't it?
No, it should be Andy Kiner time. If we switch it over, and maybe we should start calling it, Brock Kiner time, because he was on time.
Oh, shoot. All right. That's all I got, bud.
All right, buddy. Well, enjoy your weekend. We'll be in touch. Well, Monday, next podcast. So don't go. Hopefully get better.
Sounds good. Keep coming up with those cool t-shirts.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for sticking around while we jibber jabber and reflect. We'll see you guys on Monday.